Hello, my name is Deanna Lynn, and welcome if this is your first time meeting me or seeing me on video. I just wanted to do a little video to introduce myself, tell you a little bit about myself and my story and my education and all that kind of stuff. So you have a chance to meet me and know who I am before you either work with me virtually, just through courses that I create, or if you're going to be working with me in person physically or virtually as well. So I have been in the health and fitness industry since 2004. After I got my personal training certification, my first personal training certification, I started doing personal training out of a global gym. I think my first gym that I worked at was Planet Fitness in Victoria, BC. And after doing that for a few years, I was introduced to somebody who was working with young athletes, ages probably like 10 to about 17, mostly hockey players. And I got a really fun chance to work with people that had different kinds of goals than what people normally have at a regular gym. And I found it really, really fun and exciting. And through working with him, I was introduced to CrossFit. And CrossFit was something that completely changed my life. It changed my whole idea of fitness and health. And it just made it like a lot more fun and exciting for me. So through him, I got CrossFit certified. I got Olympic lifting certified. We started training the athletes that way. And I started training myself that way. I loved it so much that I ended up opening my own affiliate. So that's kind of like where my journey really, really started with owning my business and having coaches working for me. So in 2008, I opened my first affiliate. It was called CrossFit Zone. It's still going strong in Victoria, BC. And through the years, I grew as a coach, I grew as a trainer. I worked with thousands of people, really helping them reach their goals physically, but also with this type of training, it really helped people mentally and emotionally as well. It transformed people's lives because as you start to do things, you have goals, right? And you see things that other people are doing. It's a beautiful community environment. It really drives you to try to do things that you never thought were possible. So through that, you have to grow as a person. You become really, really strong internally, mentally, and emotionally. And that was the one of the most incredible things that I loved about training others and then also training that way myself is I just felt so unstoppable. I felt so strong and anything I could put my mind to, I could do and I would work so hard to make that happen. And so through the years working with thousands of people, I really helped to inspire them and help them see that they were capable and do things that they never thought were possible. Like the goals they would have coming into the gym were completely different in like a couple months. And it was really, really exciting because it moved away from the aesthetics. Like they no longer cared about trying to lose weight or, whatever specific goals that people have, like, oh, I want to tone my body and this and that. It became about what are the things that my body can actually do? What is my body capable of doing? And they became so strong and their self-confidence and their self-empowerment and just their belief in self and their trust in self amplified so much. And I would say that's probably one of the biggest gifts that that type of training can give someone and just their ability to work hard and take care of themselves in all areas of their health and their fitness. And then, unfortunately, but fortunately, because it changed my path, I experienced a really, really bad concussion that changed the whole trajectory of my life. I was away on a girls' weekend celebrating a friend's birthday up at Tinamera, a beautiful resort on Vancouver Island. And we were leaving the next day, and I was in the back of my SUV. I was back, had the hatchback door open, and I was grabbing something for a friend. And it was a very, very windy, windy day, like extraordinary windy. And the hatchback door actually was pushed down by the wind, and it hit me on the back of the head, like right on the top here. And that gave me a concussion. It gave me what the doctor said, a mild concussion, but completely changed my life. I struggled for many, many, many years. Now, the beauty of this is I was no longer able to run my business anymore. I had to cut my hours down. I had to slow down. I had to really start to get connected to myself, get connected to my body and my needs. And I couldn't push anymore. So it was like going from this go, 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 and like I'm totally capable of doing anything. I was brought into the other side where it's like, I can't do everything right now. I have to listen to my body. I have to listen to my brain. I have to slow down. I have to actually start asking people for help. So it was like at polar opposites of like what I was experiencing. So I had to slowly like decrease my time at the gym. I had to train up a bunch of new coaches and apprentices to do what I was doing because I wasn't able to be there and actually heal. And it got to the point where I was like, okay, like I can't do this anymore. I'm not getting better fast enough. I'm being guided in a different direction. So we sold the gym in 2019. I actually stopped working in there in 2018. And it brought me on a completely different path through my healing journey of my brain injury. I discovered Reiki. I had never heard of Reiki before. It popped up on Facebook as an ad. I signed up for a course where I could learn how to do it online. I got attuned to it. If you don't know anything about Reiki, it's an energy healing modality. And it's so powerful because it helps to actually shift the energy in your body. It calms your nervous system. It helps release emotions, just kind of like aligns all parts of you into the ability to heal itself naturally. So I started to heal myself that way. And that was just like the surface of where I was going. I had no idea where I was going. Then I started to like really enjoy learning about the mind body connection, a lot of like spirituality stuff, a lot of like new age stuff. Um, I was introduced to Louise Hay and just like the metaphysical meaning of the things that we experience physically, what is going on inside. And I just ate that up. I loved it. And that kind of was like the base of like where I was actually going on my journey. So, after that, I dabbled in a few different things, learning a bunch more like healing modalities and all that kind of stuff. But essentially, it brought me back to the body. It brought me back to health and well being, but from a place of what is our body actually trying to tell us when we're experiencing these physical sensations in our body? And I started to see this connection between what I was saying to myself and what I was experiencing in my body. And the more and more I tapped into it, I realized that I was like, oh, there's these patterns. Like I keep saying these same things to myself over and over and over again. And now I'm feeling it physically in my body. And when I finally was able to like pinpoint the thought that I was saying and rewire it into something else, something more empowering, all of a sudden the physical sensation went away. So, as an example, that like blew my mind is that after my head injury, I got a lot of migraines. Like I would say more days than not, I had a migraine. So probably like 75% of the days I had a migraine. And then I realized that it was a thought, something that I was saying to myself that was very disempowering. I was going against myself. I was judging and criticizing myself and just really invalidating myself. And when I was doing that, it gave me a migraine. And as soon as I caught the pattern of what I was saying to myself, my migraines decreased and I only had them about 25% of the time. And I was like, wow, this is powerful. Like I am on to something. And so, fast forward a few years later, I started to notice that I wasn't really moving forward with business. I was feeling very disempowered in myself. I wasn't feeling confident anymore. I had not been able to work out as much. I also had a back injury. My head was still healing, so I wasn't able to work out the way that I used to. And I started to notice that the things I was saying to myself, because I wasn't moving things forward in my life and I had lost like pretty much everything in my life and I was having to recreate my whole life. And for some people, that's exciting. But for others, it's not like it's a lot and it can really mess with you mentally. And I would rely on in the past the physical exercise and the physical strength I was getting. It really fueled me and made me feel strong and confident and capable and like I could trust myself. And I had gone in the opposite direction after the head injury, and I just wasn't able to really rebuild myself. And I was noticing that that was getting in the way as I was trying to build my business. And so one day I discovered that the physical pains and tensions and discomforts I was feeling in my body were actually connected to this block in my mind that wasn't allowing me to move forward because she didn't feel like she was enough, didn't feel confident, didn't trust myself, didn't feel capable, didn't feel empowered. And then I was like, wow. And now my body is actually responding to it. My hips are tight. My nervous system is overactive and overstimulated all the time. My back is sore. My core is weak. And all of a sudden it hit me. I was like, wow, these are connected. And so when I'm feeling good and I'm feeling strong and I'm feeling confident and I'm able to work out and build this extra strength, reconnect with this strength within myself, I feel so good. I feel so empowered. I feel unstoppable. I feel like I can do the things I want to do. And the tension in my body would subside. The pain would disappear. And I was like, wow, this is absolutely fascinating. I'm on to something. And so, me being the type of person who's very connected to the body with the sensations, but also when I would work with clients and when I had my gym, I could look at their body and I could look at their posture and look at how they're moving and I could see when things were out of alignment. And I knew exactly what they needed to do. I knew exactly what I needed to say to them to get them in the proper alignment so they could lift the weights safely and efficiently. And with that, like knowing what muscles are weak, which ones are strong, which ones are tight, which ones are maybe too flexible. And then I give them exercises to balance that and align that. And then realizing that those postural things that I was noticing, they actually carry patterns. They carry like personality patterns. They carry different thoughts. They carry different emotions. And I was experiencing this physically. So with that, I started to realize, well, like I need to be in my power. I need to be confident. I need to be courageous. I need to be strong internally in who I am and trust myself and know that I'm capable. And all of that is rooted in these areas that I was really struggling with um, physically. And I was like, oh, there's a connection there. So I put together a program, which I will go into more details of that, but in another video called Holistically Strong. And essentially, it started with me realizing that I needed to be empowered. I need to be in my power. And that was created with me really activating my core, feeling the strength in my core, feeling like the Kegel muscles, like that inner strength. And I would start to cultivate that energy internally and I would activate my muscles with it. And then after that, I felt like a completely different person. It was like I literally just shifted who I was, my whole identity in that moment when I was visualizing and knowing and believing that I was in my power and I was activating the muscles. I was teaching my cells how to be because for so many years I taught it differently because of what happened in my life. And I got down that path of like, I'm not strong, I'm not confident, I'm not capable, I'm disempowered, all of those things happened. And I kept programming my body and programming my cells to believe that. And of course, from that place, like, how am I supposed to move forward in my life, in my relationships, in my business, in my finances, like all of that stuff that I lost? How was I able to actually move forward with it? Like, I couldn't. It needed to come from inside. And so that's where things moved with my fitness journey is now it's not just about like, let's move your body and let's get strong. We're actually starting from inside. We're cultivating that energy inside. And then we're pairing it with physical movement. And so not only are you going to get strong physically and start to reach your goals physically, you're actually recoding yourselves into a brand new identity, a brand new personality. And that is where the magic is. And the beautiful thing that I discovered with myself is that when you align internally your thoughts, your mind, your emotions, your spirit, and you ground it into your physical cells so they believe it and they know it, like you're coding your cells with this new identity, your health and fitness results skyrocket. They happen so quickly. You get stronger quickly. Your muscles transform quickly. Your health, whatever you're experiencing in your body health wise, that all transforms so quickly. And it is such a simple process. And for so many years, I forgot about it again. This was 2022 when I created this. I created my program called Holistically Strong. And I forgot about it for quite a few years. I went down another path, which helped me really start to get connected to the body because through CrossFit, it was like, okay, here's a workout on the board. You bypass what your body is feeling. You mind over matter. You just go. And let me tell you, for women, you can't do that for the rest of your life. You will tear yourself apart. You will burn yourself out when you're not following your cycle. So, the next piece that came in for me was actually starting to align my workouts to my cycle and to the moon cycle. And that was beautiful. I started sharing that with women, and it was like a sigh of relief from their body when they knew they didn't have to follow the same plan and program every single day, and they actually got to tune into, like, how do I feel physically, how do I feel emotionally, what's my nervous system doing, and we started to like align their workouts to how they were feeling. And so this program that I created, now these two different programs, I see how they are both so important. And now they're coming together as one, as embodied fitness. So not only are we strengthening ourselves internally, our sense of self, and physically, we're also learning how to tap into our body, learn to listen to what our body is trying to tell us, and customize our workouts based on that versus bypassing it and forcing it. She doesn't want to be forced or bypassed any longer. She wants to be worked with. And the other incredible pieces is when you actually start listening to your body, having compassion for where you're at, the validation of what you're feeling and why you're feeling it, and you honor her, the goals that you have and the things that you actually want to do, she's going to be on board with it a lot quicker than if you ignore her and you try to force her to do what she's not ready to do. So I witnessed this personally. I said I had a back injury and I was trying to get stronger and do deadlifts because I really wanted to increase my deadlift because I hated that I could barely bend over without being in pain. And some days I could lift, a lot of days I couldn't lift. When I actually started to tap into my body and ask questions and ask, like, what does she actually need and why doesn't she want to lift? And I gave her what she needed and I honored her for where she was at. I went from barely being able to bend over to being able to lift 100 pounds on a deadlift within like 2 to 3 weeks. And this was something that I struggled with. I couldn't even barely lift 65 pounds. And it was hit or miss. Like I said, I could barely bend over one day. And then on a really good day, I could lift 65 pounds. And then all of a sudden, I lifted over 100 pounds. And I was like, what just happened? What was different? Ah, I aligned everything. I aligned everything to my body, my spirit, my mind, my heart, my emotions, grounded it all into my body. We work together as a team, and I was able to reach my goals faster than I ever have in my life. So, like, that's such a beautiful piece of this. So, through the years now, I see why I had the Holistically Strong program. And then I went into this other piece, and now they're paired together in my program called Embodied Fitness. They need to be together. And yeah, I show you how to do that through my program. So that's my story. That's how I got there, and how everything came together, and just how powerful this work is. So I'm really excited to get an opportunity to work with you if this resonates. If it doesn't, that's totally fine. There's something out there that resonates for you. So make sure to reach out if you have any questions, and I look forward to either working with you virtually or in person. And until next time, sending you lots of love.